The tropical rainforests of India are a wonderland of lush vegetation teeming with life and pulsing with energy. Here, the vibrant greens of the forest meld seamlessly with the shimmering blues of the sky and stretch as far as the eye can see. However, within this lush paradise dwells some of the most majestic and fearsome creatures of the natural world, including a variety of serpents that are perfectly adapted to this dense and humid environment. It was Sunday the 15th of February, 2015, when 23-year-old Raj and 24-year-old Arun set out into the Kaziranga forest in Assam, India, on an adventurous hunting expedition. Armed with nothing but an airsoft rifle, the duo were determined to catch some birds for their evening feast. As they trudged through the dense undergrowth, their senses were heightened, and they scanned the surroundings with hawk-like precision, searching for any signs of movement. Noon was fast approaching, and the heat from the scorching sun had fueled their hunger to unimaginable heights. With each step, they inhaled the heady aroma of the wild, and their hearts were pounding with excitement at the thought of the wild delicacy. The lush jungle stretched out around them, alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Suddenly, Raj spotted a flurry of wings flapping in the distance. Peering through the leaves, they saw the colorful bird Indian golden areole perched on a nearby tree. Without a moment's hesitation, he signaled to Arun, and they both quietly took cover behind a tree trunk. The forest fell silent as the two friends held their breath, waiting for the opportune moment to shoot. And with a bated breath, Arun took aim with the rifle, steadying his nerves as he prepared to take the shot. However, as he pulled the trigger, a loud pop sound echoed through the jungle, startling the bird into flight. Arun and Raj watched in dismay as their prey vanished into the treetops. Undeterred, the duo trudged deeper into the jungle, their eyes scanning the branches for any sign of movement. As they walked, talking excitedly about their past hunting experiences, they were completely unaware of the presence of a hidden predator lurking in the shadows, a saw-scaled viper. The saw-scaled viper lay coiled in a tangle of underbush, its sharp eyes watching their every move with keen interest. Despite their proximity, the viper remained unbothered by their presence, content to simply observe from a safe distance. It remained motionless, with its body perfectly still, save for the occasional flicker of its tongue as it tasted the air for the scent of prey. Its eyes followed their every step, tracking their movements with the precision of a seasoned hunter. To it, the duo were nothing more than passing intruders in its domain, a minor disturbance in an otherwise peaceful existence. And so it watched, content to remain hidden and unbothered by their presence, a silent guardian of the jungle that would continue to observe and wait for its next opportunity to strike. The duo remained blissfully unaware, their minds occupied with the wonder and beauty of the jungle around them. They marveled at the intricate web of vines that crisscrossed between the trees above them, and a mother monkey scampering across a thick branch while holding her tiny baby close to her chest. From high up on the branch, the monkey's sharp eyes suddenly caught sight of something sinister slithering through the undergrowth below. It was a long, sinewy snake with its scales glistening in the sun as it slithered closer and closer to the duo. The mother's motherly instincts kicked into high gear, and she clutched her baby even tighter before leaping onto a nearby branch. Raj and Arun soldiered on through the dense jungle as their eyes darted back and forth in search of their prey while oblivious to the pending danger. Suddenly, Raj let out a startled cry as he noticed something slithering across the jungle floor directly in front of them. A massive anaconda had silently appeared, its body coiling and uncoiling like a living rope and blocking their path. The serpent's skin glistened in the dappled sunlight as it slithered toward the men. They were paralyzed with shock as the massive creature towered over them, its beady eyes piercing their souls. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as they stared in disbelief at the anaconda's immense size. They knew that even with the airsoft gun, it was no match for the mighty serpent. Raj grabbed Arun's arm, but then, with a sudden jolt, the two friends stumbled backwards, falling to the ground in terror. Without a word, they quickly scrambled to their feet as their legs wobbled beneath them, turned and ran as fast as they could, each going in a different direction. As they sprinted through the jungle, the sound of the anaconda's hissing and slithering echoed behind them, urging them to run faster. They didn't dare look back, not even for a second. The sounds of their footsteps echoed through the jungle as they raced to put as much distance as possible between themselves and the deadly predator in pursuit. They knew that splitting up might not have been the safest choice, but they were too panicked to think straight. Raj darted left and right, his eyes frantically scanning for any sign of the anaconda. Meanwhile, Arun ran straight ahead, not daring to look back. He could hear the anaconda's hissing breaths behind him, and he knew that he had to run as fast as he could if he wanted to survive. Tired and almost out of breath, Arun decided to seek refuge behind a tree trunk, giving him time to catch his breath. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to him, the anaconda was on him, and it was only a matter of seconds before his deafening cry for help tore the silence of the jungle. He had become the serpent's next meal. Rohan and Vikram were two inseparable friends who had known each other since childhood. They had grown up together in the bustling city of Andhra Pradesh, India, but they always shared a love for the great outdoors. As boys, they would often go on hikes and explore the lush forests and majestic hills of the region. On November 21st, 2018, they decided to take a trip back to their roots by going fishing on their favorite river, the Godavari River. They both had fond memories of fishing with their fathers in this very river, and they were eager to relive those memories. As the overhead sun brightly lit the lush jungle, two friends found themselves seated atop a comfortable pile of twigs and leaves. With their sturdy fishing baskets by their sides, the friends scanned the riverbank in search of the perfect spot to catch their prized prey. Their eyes twinkled with excitement as they shared stories of past successful fishing trips and debated the merits of various locations. As the two friends continued their discussion, unbeknownst to them, a massive anaconda silently slithered its way towards them. The snake's sleek, muscular body moved with a hypnotic grace as it approached its unsuspecting prey. With its sharp eyes locked on its target, the anaconda tensed its powerful muscles, ready to strike at a moment's notice. But just as it was about to make its move, the friends suddenly stood up and started to make their way toward the fishing spot. The anaconda's heart raced with anticipation, but it knew it had missed its chance. It watched the two men with a mixture of disappointment and hunger as they walked away, oblivious to the danger they had just narrowly avoided. As they continued their journey toward the riverbank, the friends were completely unaware of the narrow escape they had just had. They laughed and chatted excitedly, eager to cast their lines and begin their fishing adventure. Little did they know that a massive predator had been lurking just inches behind them, ready to strike at any moment. But despite the close call, they remained blissfully ignorant, lost in the beauty and tranquility of the jungle around them. And, for now at least, or so you might think, they were safe from harm, free to enjoy the wonders of nature without a care in the world. With their fishing baskets in hand, the duo made their way to the edge of the riverbank, each eager to catch their first fish of the day. They waded into the cool, murky water, feeling the gentle current rush past their legs. With practiced ease, they dipped their baskets into the water, their hands moving in a fluid, rhythmic motion. They carefully scanned the riverbed, watching for any signs of movements or disturbance that might indicate the presence of fish. Suddenly, Vikram let out a triumphant shout. He had caught a palasa fish, locally known as hilsa, lush, or the hilsa shad. With a wide grin, he held up his basket, revealing a beautiful shimmering fish wriggling under his tight grip. Rohan chuckled good-naturedly, still focused on his own basket, but try as he might, he couldn't seem to catch a fish. After catching his first fish of the day, Vikram carefully cradled the slippery fish in his hands and made his way back to the riverbank with a smile on his face. He carefully placed the fish down on the lush green grass, taking care to not damage it in any way. Meanwhile, Rohan, who had remained waist-deep in the water, let out a shout of his own. He had caught another palasa, and it was bigger than Vikram's. He handed it over to Vikram, who headed to the shore and placed it on their growing pile of catch. Their fishing adventure was so far better than they had anticipated. As Vikram made his way to land, Rohan scanned the water, focused on the task of catching more palasa. However, unbeknownst to him, a massive anaconda was silently slithering its way toward him, its powerful body undulating beneath the murky waters. He continued to fish, his mind lost in the beauty and tranquility of the jungle around him. He remained oblivious to the danger lurking just inches away, unaware of the massive predator that was closing in on him. As the anaconda approached, its sharp eyes locked on its prey. It tensed its powerful muscles, ready to strike at a moment's notice. And then, the reptile seized the moment with its powerful muscles coiling around Rohan, constricting his movements and cutting off his breath. Rohan struggled against the snake's grip, his heart pounding with fear and adrenaline as he fought for his life. He wildly flailed his arms while letting out cries for help, but despite his best efforts, the anaconda only tightened its grip, squeezing him tighter and tighter until he could barely breathe. Vikram heard his friends' cries for help just as he was placing their latest catch on their pile. He quickly dashed to see what the commotion was all about, only to find his friend in the deadly grip of the reptile. He could see the shimmering scales of the anaconda as it was twisted beneath the surface as it squeezed the life out of his best friend. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, he scooped up a handful of mud from the riverbank and hurled it at the giant serpent with all his might. The mud flew through the air, spinning and twirling in a graceful arc toward the anaconda. For a split second, it looked like it might hit its mark and distract the snake from its prey. But as it approached the water, the mud started to disintegrate, dissolving into the murky water just meters from the shore. Undeterred, Vikram pressed on, grabbing more handfuls of mud and flinging them towards the anaconda. Each time, the mud fell just short of its target, dissolving into the water and leaving no trace of its existence. Despite the futility of his efforts, he refused to give up. He knew that every second counted in this life-or-death situation and was willing to try anything to save Rohan. Unfortunately, as fate would have it, all he could do was helplessly watch as his best friend disappeared beneath the murky waters. As the water turned crimson, Vikram sprinted through the dense jungle with a look of terror etched on his face. His heart pounded in his chest as he raced back to his village to summon help. It was Monday, the 23rd of September 2013, when Hassan and Kabir made their way to the Brahmaputra River at Guwahati, India. The two young men, close friends since childhood, made their way down to the riverbank with their fishing baskets in hand. Their excitement was palpable as they were eager to catch the elusive Alia koila, popularly known as the kajoli in the region. As the morning wore on and the sun continued its ascent into the sky, the friends continued to fish, their baskets slowly filling with the bounty of the river. Unfortunately, not far from them, a massive anaconda was silently watching them from the water hyacinth. The serpent slowly lifted its head and flicked out its tongue, tasting the air for the slightest hint of its newfound prey. Fortunately, Hassan and Kabir made their way to land just as the massive creature was slithering into the water. As they walked, their eyes scanned the horizon, searching for a shady spot to rest and recuperate before their next round of fishing. They spotted a tall, leafy tree near the water's edge whose branches offered a welcome respite from the scorching heat. After a short rest, they picked up their fishing baskets, ready to move to a new fishing spot. They hopped into their canoe and rowed to the new spot. After docking the canoe near the riverbank, the duo set to work as heartedly as before. Meanwhile, another anaconda, which had been basking in the sun above the water hyacinth, was attracted to the noise made by the duo as they waded through the knee-length water. Kabir noticed that they had forgotten their creel back at the canoe. He headed to their docking place, leaving a busy Hassan behind. Hassan was so engrossed in his task, he didn't notice the anaconda slowly lower itself into the river, its massive form barely making a ripple in the water. With lightning-fast speed, it shot towards him, its jaws open wide to strike. With a powerful surge, the anaconda shot out from the depths of the river, catching him completely off guard, and before he could react, the snake knocked him off his feet and into the water. As the weight of the anaconda bore down on him, he struggled to stay afloat while gasping for air. He thrashed and kicked, trying desperately to free himself from the snake's deadly grip, but it was no use. The anaconda was too strong, too relentless. From the riverbanks, Kabir watched in horror, his heart pounding with fear and desperation as he saw his companion being tussled underwater. Without hesitation, he leaped into action. He rushed to the riverbank and began uprooting shrubs and branches, tearing them from the earth with all his might. He knew that he needed something to fight back against the anaconda, something to distract it long enough for his friend to escape. He hurled the shrubs at the snake with all his might, the branches whistling through the air as they raced towards the target. But it was too late for Hassan.